I was visiting my brother at his home. He is single and lives alone. I was only staying 2 days to visit him and then drive to another state, where I live with my 2 sons. It was about 2200 hours p.m. when I climbed in my sleeping bag to sleep. I was not yet sleeping but had my eyes closed. I saw a bright flash. I next remember a dark tunnel and 2 figures on both sides of me guiding me towards a very bright light. I remember instantly of reading or hearing of people talking about this type of experience when I was younger. I instinctively looked to my right to see if I was in a dark tunnel. It was a surprise to see stars, and I made a point to note this for some reason. There was no fear at all in me. I just glided along with the 2 figures, one holding each arm. The light was getting brighter ahead of me. Finally, we were near what looked like a 4-tier golden arch. Beyond this arch I can see all my relatives who passed away, especially my mother. All looked very happy and were all smiles. We could communicate, but not by talking. Beyond and in the midst of my family were hills and hills of what I considered people. They were wearing white robes and all looking at the bright light. On my right side at about 45 degrees, singing and praising toward it. The light was high, and below was a high building with columns. Between these columns was a person dressed all in white with dark, long hair. I turned back towards my family who were on the other side of the golden arch, and asked the 2 figures holding me if I could go closer. They told me I could not go past the golden arch. We moved towards the arch and I was able to put one leg just inside. Instantly the light was inside me, total bliss, a feeling of feeding me with love and not requiring anything. This is hard to explain to anyone. The experience of how you do not want for anything while in the light. A voice on my right told me, "You must go back now." I wanted to stay but was not permitted. I was a little disappointed and looked at my family there. They were all still smiling, telling me it was okay, and they were waiting for me. Every family member looked the same as when I last saw them but totally happy. I was guided back from the golden arches and the light became less noticeable, as in a cave. But I knew it was not because when I came I remembered the stars on the way to the light. The 2 figures guiding me were larger than myself. Maybe 6.5 to 7 feet tall. I was then laying back on the living room floor again, with the bliss filling from the light still inside me. I went in and woke my brother. It was 3 a.m., or near that time, and I told him what had happened to me. We talked for several hours about this experience and he was supportive of what I was saying. He mentioned he had heard of this happening to others but had not experienced it himself. I do not consider myself religious and have not attended any church in years. To this day, the bliss I felt from the light affects me in how I look at life and how I treat others. It is as if I understand much more about how small this life is if compared to what lies ahead. My brother and I talk about this often and his fear of dying is less frightening to him. After this happening to me and sharing it with him, I felt if anyone should be judged for unacceptable behavior it was me, but I did not since that happened. It did not feel like a warning either. It was more like, okay, this is what you have to look forward to after death. Now live your life good and to the fullest and spread this experience. This is difficult for me. I did not want anyone to think I was nuts. So I hid it the last several years, only telling very few people, afraid to be mocked or laughed at.